What's going on, YouTube? My name is Mr. Crippled, and today I'm going to be bringing you my colleague God Guide and review for Smite 2. Now, before we get into the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and if you'd like to keep up with any future content, I will be leaving a link to my Twitch and my Discord in the description below. Now, Kali is the same and yet so much different than what she was in Smite 1. She's coming in with a brand new part to her kit with Rupture stacks, which I'll go ahead and go over in a moment. And the funny part about this character is that her abilities actually scale mostly with intelligence rather than strength. So if you want to do a more intelligence-based build, or a more ability-based build, you're going to have to build a lot of intelligence. And honestly, I kind of recommend that because her intelligence build hits very, very hard, and her heal off of her 3 scales with intelligence. And again, I'll go over how her abilities work and how Rupture works here in a moment. Now, she does have 2 builds. I recommend the ability-based build because the ability-based build is kind of just the easiest to build. You can do the auto-attack build, but just keep in mind your abilities are not going to hit as hard as they would with your abilities are not going to hit as hard as they would if you would have built intelligence, but they'll still hit pretty decently hard since your abilities do still scale a little bit with strength. But if you so for this video though, we're going to be going over your intelligence with the intelligence build. So the first things first that you got to know with this character at level 1, you want to get your 2. This is going to be your most consistent clear at the beginning of the game, and it's going to be your secondary source of damage. Plus, this does put a nice little bleed on targets, and it does put Rupture for every blade hit on the enemy target. So this ability is really nice to have early at level 2. Level 2, I actually recommend either grabbing your 3. You can go with your 1 here, but by the time you really want to be fighting, you should already be level 3. And if you're forced to fight, it's better to have CC on you. Plus, this ability does give you extra strength and intelligence for using this. And with how her Rupture works, the more stacks of Rupture on the enemy god that's on there, not only would this ability heal you more, but it'll also do more damage. And how you can tell, if you look over here, underneath the health bar of the enemy god, you can see these skulls. Every time I hit an auto or an ability, they get a stack of Rupture. Each of your 1 and your 2 will give you max stacks of 3. However, with the 2, you have to hit all 3 blades, or else it's only going to give you 1 stack. So if you look, it only gives 1 stack there. But if you manage to hit all 3, it gives you 3 stacks. And remember, the stacks of Rupture do not last forever, so make sure you use them when you get the chance. But they do last a pretty decently long time. So, then at level 3, obviously, you get your 1. At this point, what you level is kind of going to be up to you. If you're going with an auto-attack build, you want to level your 2. If you want to go with a ability-based build, you want to level your 3. Because your 3 is technically your hardest hitting ability if you get all max stacks of Rupture. Since this is going to be an ability-based build, you want to go ahead and level your, level your 3 first. And then at level 5, obviously, you want to get your ultimate. Keep in mind, your ultimate is a get out of jail free card. It does make you immune to death, displacements, slows, and roots. So while you have this ultimate up, you basically you will not die, and you cannot be CC'd. The only way you can be CC'd is if you're stunned, mezzed, or knocked up. Okay? Actually, no, I don't think you get knocked up because that's displacement. So as long as it's not a stun or a mez, you should be fine as long as the ultimate is active. And this ability, your ultimate does do damage to nearby enemies, and each time it does damage, it does stack a it does give you a stack of Rupture. And then it also, once it ends, if you don't manage to kill anybody, it does give you 15% of your health back when the ultimate ends, if you're below 50% health. And then keep in mind, this is really good when it stacks with your passive, because whenever you kill somebody that's marked, whenever you kill somebody that you have marked, you do get 40% of your health back, or you get 15% of your health back if you get an assist.
Your middle tower is under attack.
You also gain extra gold for killing that person, so targeting the person that you have marked is a must. And if you're wondering how the mark works, let me go ahead and show you. So, as you can see, the Ymir right now has a little symbol underneath his health bar, along with a little symbol underneath his health bar that lets you know that they're marked. While they're marked, they take extra damage from you. That's all you need to know. You gain extra penetration against that target. That's all you need to know. And if you ever need to change your target at any point, you just go back to the fountain, click R3, cycle through to the person that you want to, and then just hit A. And then now...
Your middle tower is under
I think
attack.
it's buggy sometimes. Yeah, I think it's buggy. But basically, you just have to select that person, click A, and then it would change that marked target. Change that marked target for you. So for me, it's Ymir. And then once he dies, oh, I'm not gonna waste time. And once he dies, the mark will transfer to the closest enemy god to you. So once he dies, that mark will transfer over to Kukulkan, and then Kukulkan over the needs respectively. So keep in mind who your marked target is at all times, and focus that target down. That's what you need to be doing. Keep in mind they are gonna know that they are marked because a little symbol will pop up over their head. So they will be ready for you to gank them. So don't be predictable with only going after the marked target. Sometimes switch it up and switch targets. Alright? Anyway, let's go ahead and go back to the leveling path. Level up your abilities as they come. I say level up the 3 first, and then level the 2. So it's gonna be here. And then you're gonna want to level the 2. Once this is max, focus, then you want to focus the 1 and then put points in your ultimate as they come. Now, for the build, I'm going to show you the intelligence build that a lot of people are running right now, and some recommendations for build items. So, at the beginning, you have 2 options. You can either go Bumba's Dagger for faster attack speed, or you can go Bumba's Cudgel for extra cooldowns. I think Bumba's Cudgel for the ability-based version is better, but Bumba's Golden Dagger is also really strong on her because she does still need to auto-cancel a lot. And having these extra extra attack speed will actually help you stack Rupture a lot quicker. So either one is completely up to you. Neither of these is a bad option. Me personally, if you're gonna go ability based though, go Bumba's Hammer so you can get the extra cooldowns. And every time you hit an auto, after using an ability, the cooldowns on your abilities will go down a little bit. So keep that in mind. After that, stacks. Book it though. Now, this card did see the change. You're not going to have any pen with this card early, but this will help your abilities hit a little bit harder. And then after this, I actually recommend going straight into Necronomicon. The reason why Necronomicon is so good on this character is because she has this get out of jail free button with her ultimate. Right? And it's instant. Whenever you feel like you're in danger, you just pop this ultimate and run at the enemy team, because they will not be able to stop you. And then after this, I recommend going into Polynomicon. That way, whenever you do auto-cancel, your abilities are not only going to hit hard, but your auto right afterwards is going to hit even harder. So it's going to look something like this. And already, as you can see, you do a lot of damage. And these bots are level 10. So let me go ahead and remove all god bots. Set them to 20 so you can just see the damage. And give them about 80 protections, because this is roughly where they're going to be at. As you can see... Oh yeah, this game is bugged, because once you level them up in the jungle practice, for some reason they don't get their stacks. So that's one thing. Let me go ahead and show you on this. 715 damage off your 3 alone, just for having those stacks of Rupture. And even if you don't have your other abilities, 1, 2, 3, still does a crap ton of damage. And keep in mind, when you're using that ability, you only want to use your 3 once they have above 3 stacks of Rupture. So never use this. Just never use this ability randomly. You can use this as a get off a tool, obviously, but she's pretty much an all-in character. So using this as an escape move, if you had to use this as an escape move, you're doing something wrong. So get the name of the game. Get as many stacks of Rupture as you can before popping your 3. That way, your 3 does max damage, and you get as much strength and intelligence as possible, and as much healing as possible. After this, what you build is kind of up in the air. You do need Pen. You are going to need Rana Tahuti. You are going to need a lot of damaging items. You can go Gem of Focus. That way you get extra intelligence and movement speed. That way you can keep up with your opponent. You can go Doom Orb. Because even though this does give a little bit less intelligence now than it used to, it still does give a nice 150 max mana and 10% pen. Plus, this does give you more movement speed and intelligence for every minion kill that you get. So when you come out the jungle, you're going to be extremely fast and you're going to be hitting really hard. So this is also a really good item to have. Divine Ruin is kind of optional. If their team comp is going to have a lot of healing, which in this day and age it probably will, Divine Ruin on you would be very useful. Or you could just let the mid and the support worry about the anti-heal. Completely up to you, but In this day and age, right now, anti-heal is going to be very important, so I would recommend building Divine Ruin. Then obviously right at the Hootie. And you still are going to need some kind of extra CDR. I actually do recommend building Totem of Death on this character. That way, whenever you hit with your 1, you hit with your 3, you're going to be ticking a lot, and you'll have a lot of pen at that point, making your 3 hit insanely hard. As you saw, it did 1,000 damage. This is kind of crazy. Now, the only other thing that I recommend building is... Where is it? Mag-Eye's Cloak. This is a very important card for full damage jungles, and basically full damage anything except for like carries and even the mid. Basically just a jungle role. I recommend building this card on basically anybody, especially on a character like Kali, because as you can see, she doesn't have any real CC immunity outside of the ultimate, and even then she's not CC immune to like stuns. And because she's an all-in god and a very aggressive engager, she's probably going to be the first person diving into team fights because she has this big ass stun. So making sure the enemy team can't stun you back is going to be very important. So building Mag-Eye's Cloak is going to help you survive a lot longer, and since you're going to probably already have beads as well, it's going to make it to where it's going to be virtually impossible for the enemy team to get you off of. Them. But the question rises: where do we put this card? What card do we replace? Do we replace Divine Ruin? Do we replace Rise of the Hootie? Or do we replace Totem of Death? Because honestly, these 3 cards are going to be your staples. You're going to need these 3 cards to really pull this build together. So, if anything, sacrifice Divine Ruin. If anything, sacrifice Divine Ruin. And here's why: because Rise of the Hootie is a really big damaging spike card, and it does give you pen. And Totem of Death gives you a lot of pen as well. These are going to be your primary sources of pen anyway, besides Necronomicon. So, you don't want to sacrifice these. That's just my opinion. Plus, you're going to need the extra CDR anyway. So, if anything, sacrifice the Divine Ruin. And this is going to be your final build. And even with this build, you're going to hit extremely hard. So, the last thing I do want to go over with this character is her combo. How to engage it. Because of how her kit works, it's kind of fluid. The 1 is a really good engaging ability, but this does heal you for a percentage of basically their missing health. And the lower their health is, the bigger this heal is. So sometimes it's better to not engage with the 1. Sometimes you want to save it for the extra heal when you're engaging. So actually, a better engagement is to engage with your 2. Right? Get those 3 stacks of Rupture. Even though that's easier said than done. So, what you want to do, in a perfect world scenario, engage with 2, auto a couple times, hit your 3, auto a couple times, and then leap it, auto a couple times. Or auto cancel once. So, essentially, this is what you want to look at in real time. That's basically what you want to do in real time. And as you can see, it does do a lot of damage. Unfortunately, I can't show you on the enemy god bot because for some reason, when you spawn them in, they don't get the stacks of Rupture on them, which is absolutely weird. But as you can see, it still does. It still does a lot of damage. In other scenarios, you can just leap in, get those 3 stacks, and then auto, and then hit your 3, and then hit your 2. Or you can leap in, hit your 2, then hit your 3. Ideally, also, when you're jungling, you're probably going to hit your 1, your 2, then your 3. That's basically what it's going to be like. But the reason why I recommend not doing that is just in case you're into characters like Neith who have really good run moves and can get away from you, you want to save your leap to re-engage with them. That's the whole point of the leap. So, if you have to for your relic, you can go blink. They did buff it, essentially, making it to where killing a god, damaging or killing a god within 4 seconds reduces the cooldown on this by 30.
Your middle tower
this
is under
still
attack.
A good option to have, but because of how Kali is, beads is probably still going to be better in most situations. So basically just playing your engagements accordingly. There's not really like a set combo that you can do, but the most basic one is just this. That's the most basic you can get. And the reason why you want to do your 1 into your 2 is because it's going to make your 3 hit exponentially harder because you're going to have max stacks of Rupture. So plan those engagements accordingly. But anyway, that's basically the build for Akali, thinking a Street Fighter. That's basically the build for Kali. If you want to do an auto attack build, you can. However, I do not really recommend it, mostly because it doesn't hit as hard as the ability-based one does. And plus, you'll be left as a sitting duck a lot more often. But if you want to do that instead, I actually have a build for that. So instead of going Bumpus Hammer, you're obviously going to be going into Bumpus Golden Dagger. I would recommend Dagger Frenzy first.
Your middle tower is under attack.
That way you get a lot of attack speed, you get a lot of damage, and you get a stim on top of that as well. And you get a pretty decent amount of attack speed. And this is without the Bumpus Golden Dagger, because obviously I can't sell this in the middle of jungle practice, but that's what I recommend starting. And then going into Executioner, you can go into Bragi's Harp. And then after this, I recommend going into Kinsblade. And then finally, your last card is going to be kind of up to you. You can go Hasten Fatalis. I do not recommend this card. It kind of just sucks right now. You can still also go Erendite, even though this doesn't have any attack speed on it. Erendite does give you extra movement speed when you pop this. It does give you cooldowns, and it does give you a good 45 strength. You can go Brawler's Ruin here. You could also go even Titan's Bane, because this does give you 25% penetration no matter what, so that's also a really good card to have. And then obviously also, again, since you are Kali, you're going to be auto-attacking, you're not really going to be relying on your abilities. Magi's Cloak is also a really good option, so I recommend this build as well if you just want to focus on your autos. But as you can see, with this, you're still not going to be hitting as hard as the other build.
You have slain
yeah, as you can see, you're still not going to be hitting as hard as the other build, simply because she just hits way harder with her way harder with her ability-based build, which is what I feel like they were trying to go for, because her autos just don't hit as hard as they used to. But you can still play around with a build like this, see if you like it. There's probably going to be better auto attack builds coming out because the patch just did come out. There's going to be different options that you can explore, but I highly recommend just doing the ability-based build. But anyway, this is my quick little colleague guide. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any other questions or if you have any recommendations for builds for this character. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys think of her, and y'all take care.